We weren't great today, guys. We weren't awful, but we weren't great. Ironically, Cooper was unbelievable, and Booker is coming better every day. He's coming a little bit, but day after a game, we try to give him some rest and let him sleep in. But what is this team like? I would have told you 2 days ago they were more in the southern Indiana. I'll tell you today they're more in the Oakland. They got 2 6'10" and a 7-footer that are good. They shoot 37% from the three. We're going to have to play better than we did today. And as I tell my team, as Judd Heathcote told me, there's two things that happen at the holidays. There are more upsets in the game before Christmas and the game after Christmas. That's a given. And it used to be that somebody would get picked up for shoplifting. Those are the two things Judd said every day. Now they got so much NLI money they don't have to worry about shoplifting. But so the NLI people, you solved the problem. But for the most part, those upsets still happen because kids think about being home or this or that, and that's the chore that coaches have.
So does playing Oakland help you if they're very similar? Does doing it back-to-back?
They're similar not in how they play, they're similar in the level that they are. This team has size, they have some shooters, they have some depth. I still think Oakland, when I looked at the film and I saw us 27 up, I mean, honestly, I couldn't believe it. And Campy and I talked late last night, and I still think he's got a team that can win his league. So does that mean we're playing a little better than I think we are? Maybe. Does that mean that they played like we played a couple games early? Maybe. That game was tight until that 3-4 fast break, good rebounds, good defense. And so as I looked at the film, guards got to rebound better. That's one thing we're working on. They got 16 offensive boards against us, although they missed 40 shots, but that's still unexcusable. And we got to do a little bit better job of that. And we're going to try to think, what do we got to get better at? And shooting, we put a lot into it. But now the defense, the rebounding, and the running, we realize is what's going to make us a great team.
You're positive in that first half with Tyson scoring 2 points and seeing other guys kind of step up.
Yeah, it really was. And the other thing that was good is Tyson telling me, Coach, they're doubling me. I said, welcome to being good. They're going to double you. They're going to come off the screen. They're going to be there for you. And I thought he did a marvelous job. His passing, if you saw one guy that played pretty good today, his passing was unbelievable. He's getting so much better. He had 5 assists, no turnovers last night. I think his whole game is coming, and guess why? If you ask Tyson, his defense has been more like it was at the beginning of the year and last year, and not like it went through those games he was sick. So I think he has a good understanding of what it takes for him to be on par.
You mentioned the 19 assists, no turnovers for those 4 guards. How much progress is that, especially with some of those guys that added?
Yeah, it's a lot for me. I mean, I look at that as a big, big deal. Because if we get good shots, we're going to make shots. I said that. I mean, it went longer than I thought. 7, 8 games maybe. That's longer than I thought, to be honest with you. But sooner or later, you still look at the numbers over 3 years, 4 years for some of those guys. You knew it was going to come back. And it's coming back. But if you turn the ball over, you don't get those opportunities. And I think that's really helped us. We got more opportunities. We're getting up almost 60 shots every game, even a game like that where they played zone. And, God, it seemed like it took forever to score, especially that first half. We still got up 60 shots, which is important.
What do you think of the way Trey's been playing offensively the past couple
Yeah,
games?
Trey has been one of our surprise guys shooting the ball. He has shot the ball pretty well, and so we're always picking out what else can we get out of him. He's a pretty good defender, and because we're not as big as some teams, he's got to continue to work on his rebounding. But his offensive productivity looks comfortable. He has been phenomenal. I'm really proud of the way Trey has played.
Tom, you talk a lot about Booker's progression, but what about just the receptions he's gotten the last 2 times at LCA and last night when he checked in for the first time?
Well, you know what? I'm proud of our fans from the standpoint of they want to stand behind him. What people don't understand is so do I. So does our staff, Again, anytime we want to have another film session, I'll show you why it's hard to get him in. Now, the scout team thing has done him wonders. Okay, the last 2 games we haven't put him on it because there's so much to learn so quickly. Coop's better at it, but he's getting better and playing a little more physical today. Doing a few more things a little better, which means he can do it. He just chose not to, or he really didn't understand, and that's why there's a process. Either one.
What are some of the positives of playing 3 games now coming up in 6 days for you guys?
There's not a lot of positives in that because you don't get a lot of time to get better, and work on your game. But it is fun to play. From a player standpoint, they'd rather play than practice. So it's from a coach's standpoint, it's been hard because it's just a whole new team. I told you we played a team that ran nothing but ball screens in Baylor. We played a team, we counted 1 ball screen that Oakland ran. And now we're back to 50-50. They're going to run a lot of ball screens, might play a little zone, different kind of zone. So it makes the prep harder for coaches. For players, I think they're happy. 1 practice, play a game, 1 practice, play a game.
Do they play more of a 3-2?
They played a 1-2-2 full court or 3-quarter court, and a little more of a 3-2, yeah. And
does that help when you get back? Does it help the prep having
no,
that zone?
that zone we played against was I gotta watch what I say. It was chaotic. Okay, it was just chaotic, but chaotic for us. His stuff was, he knew what he was doing. They knew what they were doing, And but man, it's not an easy prep, and I give Campy a lot of credit. He's got to have spent a lot of time on there to get those rotations. And he said to me last night, "It's hard to screen it." I say, "Yeah, we tried to. We didn't get very far."
You mentioned last night you were worried about margin of victory just as far as the net goes. I mean, why did you kind of come around to that? And I'm sure you're conflicted about.
I am totally conflicted, and I'll probably go back to not doing it because it's so mean to the. I mean, it's such a joke that it's even in there, because that's what football got away from. That's why they didn't go to those 90-10 games with teams beating people, and they're going to tell you that it's only one dimension of the thing, but they publicize it.
It seems like it matters a lot when teams.
You're damn right. You know what? One of the few things you and I have agreed with over the years, so I'm right with you on that. And that's the thing, and but I don't know. I got to have a talk with myself. I've done a lot of that lately.
How important is this next 2 weeks? Obviously, you got 2 games, but before just practice time before you kind of get back into Big Ten play.
Well, Christmas has always been a big time for us, and we got to get Kohler back. That'll help. Booker keeps growing. Get our shooting and our confidence back. Get back to where we can work on some things like how to defend ball screens and everything that you just can't do in a period of time now. So it'll be important, and what we got to do is win this game, because then the Big Ten starts immediately. If you look at Indiana State, so it's really important. It's a time when you get 2-a-days, you get the practice. The NCAA won't attack you for getting an extra half hour in. There's no rules. Not that there's any rules in anything else we do now, but there seems to be the one rule that sticks is the 20-hour rule. So I'm being sarcastic. I'm trying to have a little fun. I'm trying to be jovial. It's Christmas. So that's what I'm doing.
I did bring up a question about the Christmas game right before guys are getting ready to go out the door. You got to dial it in a little.
Oh yeah, I mean, what I said to you earlier, that Judd said, for the 12 years I was with him, I mean, it was the law. I mean, it was every time we talked about it, and you watch around the country, it's still happening. Sometimes not as much, because I think there's so much out there and people realize that people are doing that, but yeah, it's a paranoia. It's a paranoia, and legitimately. I mean, guys are playing the game, and some of them are driving out that night. Some are flying out at 7 the next morning. Of course, they're excited to be home. I'm excited to get home for a couple days, and I understand it, but it doesn't solve the problem.
Just the number of guys that you can play give you at least a little comfort, I guess, that you can at least find a mix that's going to play hard. If some guys are less effective.
I think that can always help. Just another example of how difficult it is to play freshmen. This team has 5 grad transfers. That means that means a minimum of 23 years old. 5 of them. So your best players still have to play well if you're going to win games. Does it help some? Yeah, I can sub a guy out, but at the end of the day, our best 3-4 players got to play well in most games if we're going to win games. And once in a while, the bench does help you, but that's the way I look at it.
I feel like Cooper and Sissoko have woken up on defense a little bit here lately.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but kind of proves my point on why I didn't like myself. If you don't call out people and you don't challenge people just all the time, I mean, what's the difference? A couple of you were at that press conference. I challenged them. Should I have to do it? I don't know. I don't know anymore. But I'm going to do it. And Cooper has maybe been the most improved of the bunch. Marty's done a better job. I mean, last 2 games, we're getting 19 points and 10, 12 rebounds out of that position. There's none of us, you or me, thought that would happen. So that's a positive. Good to go?